Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Authentically Elisa. This is the podcast that's all about being your authentic self in business and getting tips and strategies that you need to scale on your terms. And I'm your host, Elisa Bogarts. And today we're doing something a little bit different. I'm super excited about it. And it's the first one that we're doing. It's the very first episode of Coaches in the Spotlight. So this is a brand new monthly panel series where I'll bring in some incredible coaches and entrepreneurs that I know, and I'm going to bring them right here into the spotlight so that you can discover who they are, what they do, and how they can help you and what they got coming up. I'm super excited about. So every month, I'll be sitting down with a group of remarkable people from different corners of the world. So it's different corners of the world and the coaching world. And also, so we'll have like business coaches, life coaches, health coaches, healers, all sorts. And I'll be giving them a stage to introduce themselves, share what they're working on, and tell you about what they have coming up that you need to know about. Because I really believe that, there are so many amazing coaches out there doing really powerful transformational work, and not enough people know about them. And so that's something that I want to change. So today we're kicking it off with Coaches in the Spotlight, and we are doing life coaches making an impact. And trust me, after today, you're going to absolutely want to get to know these two incredible humans I have here with me. So the first one is Stacy. Oh, you told me how to pronounce your last name. Is it Braiuca? Is that
Perfect.
right? Yay, I did it. So she is the Squirrel Wrangler, a life coach and consultant. And I have with me as well Nancy Boyd, who's an author, coach, and soul mechanic. So Stacy, introduce yourself to us. Tell about who you are, what you do, and who you love working with.
Well, my name is Stacy Braiuca. Yes, I am known as the Squirrel Wrangler, and I guide humans to cross their thresholds or to find out where they've crossed thresholds that impact their life. So sometimes those things are going back in time and getting rid of the old crappy stuff, and then so that they can move forward. Yep.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. It's super important work. And Nancy, the same question to you. Tell us who you are, what you do, and who you love working with.
Great. I'm happy to be here. Thanks so much. I'm Nancy Boyd. I'm known as the soul mechanic. For more than 2 decades, I've helped thoughtful adults untangle the knots that life ties us in and the situations that we find ourselves in. And it feels like a big mystery, but it really isn't. And I can see what that is sometimes when they can't, because we all have blinders. We can't see through our own blind spots. So that's one of the places where I shine. Um,
Amazing.
the road back to ourselves isn't really very far because it's all in here. So we don't have far to go. And yeah, Stacy, you know all about that, don't you? I know you do. The work I do is through my books, through a free soul type assessment, which is different from human design. This is something I created out of my own work. And lately, I've been doing some live groups, which might be of interest to people here, called the Living Truth Model. And that speaks directly to the authenticity you were talking about. Um, Most of the time, the people that I help have already done a fair amount of work on themselves. And there just might be missing one piece, and they don't know what that is. I'm the one that helped you find it. And we'll put it all back together again.
That's awesome. Yeah, I find that too. I think, well, with both of you and what you do, yeah, we can um, spend so much time on that. And then these things come back up, or you're like, oh, I've been working on this for so long. What is that missing piece? Like, what element of it can I learn more about myself and make some more progress and be the person that I want to be? So, yeah, tell us a bit about, Stacey, we'll go back to you about, what you have coming up that our audience needs to know about. So tell us a bit about,
Yes. So I'm launching 3 new sites, but one of the first ones I'm launching is called Your Source GPT, because we're all fascinated right now with AI and GPTs, and I realized well early on in that it's like, wait a minute, we all have a GPT that's available to us. Like Nancy said, it's all in there.
Mhm.
And Source GPT is my description of us reaching out into the universe, into source, and being able to get that information for ourselves. So one of the sites I'm launching is called Your Source GPT, and I'm super excited about it because it is centered on human design itself, because it's attached to a resource for human design elements and reports and fun things like that. And then I bring my coaching. So I bring 30 years as a clinical social worker and therapist, and then also as a certified master practitioner in I can't speak, but neuro-linguistic programming, timeline therapy, which is known as, MER, which is also known as timeline therapy, and hypnosis. And I bring that together to guide people to wrangle their inner squirrels. So similar things to Nancy, but I'm sure different because we each have different methods. And I think over time, when you're working on things, you do need to use those different methods to get to all the nooks and crannies. And one method may work for one thing and another method may work for the other piece. So I'm so excited to be on a screen with somebody who has the experience Nancy has too. So, but Your Source GPT is I'm excited about, because people can get a free chart and then they can work on coaching with me using the different techniques I use and meld that together with their knowledge that they get from the chart. And then we work on it with things like hypnosis.
I love stuff like that, because it's when you get these charts, especially when I was first introduced to human design and that, I love like the chart that you're seeing about that. It's something you can like reference back to, and it just helps you understand yourself so much better, like, oh, that's why I do this. Or like, oh, I want to step into that more. Like for me, I can't remember which one it was, but like my throat chakra is supposed to be one of my strongest things. And, but I have very much always hidden my voice a lot in my life. And so it's like, so now I'm like, okay, well, this is supposed to be, part of my human design. So I shall use my voice more.
Mine was my sacral gut answering things. And I hadn't trusted it. And the more I trust it, things just start going smoother. It's beautiful. I can't wait to hear Nancy's pieces, because I know you've got some as the soul mechanic, you've got to have a good like mechanics manual for our for untangling the engine and how we get there.
Yeah, Nancy, go ahead. Tell us more about
I have the whole soul mechanics garage. There's a whole menu of whatever is going on for you. We have something to work on and ways to fix it there. So that wasn't what I was going to talk about today, but Lyndon opening there. The thing that I've been hearing, and this is what I'm doing, is it has come out of the things that I've been hearing from people everywhere, really, kind of longing for connection that stabilizes rather than fragments. And that's kind of hard to find. And I looked around, I didn't see that space anywhere. And so I built it, and carefully, for coherence and meaning, and for more than just reactivity, because that's real easy to do. It's real easy to just hear something and wow, you're off and running or down some rabbit hole, and that doesn't get you anywhere. So many of us are hungry for that right now, and it's not hard to understand why, because there's so much going on in the world and a lot to react to potentially, although there are many other ways to deal with it and be with that. So what I noticed is that living from your own truth, really holding on to it when the world pushes back, isn't something you can just decide to do. It's a skill. And how do you learn a skill? You practice it. And the best way to learn any skill is to practice with other people who are doing the same thing, because we support each other and we create that kind of safe space. And so the Living Truth Circle is a space that I created just for this purpose. It's a small cohort capped at 12 people. So it's not a whole overwhelming room. It's an entity. It's a group of people that is manageable for ourselves. And we do exactly that. We practice together. It's not therapy. It's not a course. We're not going to solve anything, but what we will do, it's a practice skill for the hardest thing there is in life, to stay true to yourself under pressure in community with others who are committed to the same thing. And we need that skill right now. We need it a whole bunch, because it's one of the things that I see could help us if we really master it. And I can help that happen. So that tool is available to anybody. It's opening this month, and I'm opening a few small cohorts. So, like I said, it's limited, and when it closes, there'll be a wait list. So it'll still happen, but you might have to wait a while. If there's something that's burning in you that you really, really want to experience, then here's what you do. And the links and things will be in the notes for you. So that's
I love that. It's that the little like practice ground where you can practice these things with other people who are also practicing, so you can all kind of feel dumb together.
A safe container that's not going to have more than 12 people in it. I love that, Nancy.
Yeah. I think that's great. You can kind of, stumble and fall in a safe place, and, keep on practicing to get better and better, and practice those skills. You're right. It is such a skill, and it does need to be practiced over and over and over again.
So you have something else to practice on.
Right. Yeah. And it's so interesting because when you start to learn that kind of stuff, and I remember thinking about that. I was like, well, what was your initial reaction to it? Like, where did you feel it in your body? And sometimes, and that I think is like your essence, right? Your authentic self, like your authentic, your true coming home to yourself reaction. But then the conditioning kind of like almost immediately can change it, or what have you. So sometimes it's like, well, maybe I felt this way, but then this other feeling came up and it was stronger. And that maybe is more the conditioned, not quite authentic one, So it's like, I remember when I first learned about that, and I was like, I don't even know what that first feeling was, but I know that it was different, but it was so short and like got overpowered so strongly that it took a while to even be able to tap into that. So I think that's great that you're teaching people that. Awesome. Well, thank you both for sharing. So just, to bring it back to authenticity. So Stacy, what does being authentic in your business mean to you?
It's interesting because that journey through everything, I think our authenticity changes too, but yet it doesn't. It's our authenticity changes in the sense of we may apply it different ways, but the who we are underneath and like our values, I think authenticity is driven by what our true values are. And when you really do like some exercises in finding out what your values are, figuring them out, listing all of them, finding other places where you got them, did you learn them from your parents? Did you learn them from school? Did you learn them from the neighborhood? Who you learned all those pieces from? And then you go through the exercises of which ones are the most important and why, and how you describe them and why. Because we may have similar values, but we may use different words to describe them. I have a funny story about that one is I knew what my top word was, my top value from having done that deep dive. And I asked my mom one day, I said, what's yours? Just because I was curious. Same exact word.
Really?
That wasn't the freakiest part. We dove deeper and was like, okay, well, what does that mean to you? And she told me, and I'm like, I was kind of like, whoa, programming does go deep. because without ever having discussed it before. I mean, literally, I was 56 when we discussed that. I'm 57 now. Like it was no more than a year ago. And, we're both sitting there kind of freaking out that was because I didn't reveal to her what mine was and what I thought until I heard hers. And after I got done freaking out, then we dove deeper. Well, the story gets even crazier because the two of us are sitting with my brother one night, and I asked him the same question. And without having ever discussed it, same top word, same cluster of things that it was around.
Wow.
So, to me, it's like I saw the programming, yet at the same time, I also, knowing those two people, I also knew that was an authentic descriptor of who they were and the way they go through life. and the three of us have that. And it's interesting because the three of us have the same word and the same cluster around it. We do apply it slightly different. We each apply it slightly different. And so I think it's when as you know yourself, as you get older and you know yourself differently and you go through changes in life and you realize, oh, when I was 20, I believed this. And so, values is one part, beliefs is the other part. When I was 20, I applied my values this way and I believed in this. And, when I was 40, I was this and this, and that it changes, but that as you know your core more and more, as you go to the garage with Nancy and figure it out, or you come to me and try and wrangle your squirrels, as you know yourself more and more, it's staying true to that top thing. To me, that's authenticity, is staying true to that top thing that you found out, because it's when you're not, it's when that's out of whack that you don't feel like you don't feel like yourself. And you've got to figure out who self is before you can know how you feel like self. So that's my long, short answer.
And how do you bring that into your business? And
how do I bring it into my business?
Yeah.
Personally, I follow that guiding light of what my top word. And whenever I'm doing something, the more I listen to that sacral gut hit. So I use that top value. And then I'm like, when you asked me about being on this, just as an example, there was a quick gut hit. So I would look at something and go, does that fit with who I am? Does it fit with my business and what my business is doing? Does it fit and be good is it good for me, who I am? Is it good for my clients, who they are, my business, where it is? And is it good for my colleague, Alyssa? And so does that win? And I've got to have sacral gut hits of yes on all of those. Right. And the more I do that and not just say yes to everything, I'm authentic to me, and it just feels good too, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels aligned. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's best.
Yeah.
Thank you for that answer. Same to you, Nancy. What does being authentic in your business mean to you?
It means very similar to what Stacy said. Isn't that odd? That we're all talking about authenticity can't be so many different things, but it applies in different ways. But I make it as simple as possible, because I do it for myself and I do in the work with other people, of what is true for me. What's true for me right now? And what's true for me right now might have been different 5 minutes ago. So we have to recognize that there are core truths about us that are consistent over time, as Stacy was discussing, and then there are truths that come up as we respond to things that happen in our world and in our lives, and that's also a truth. That also is authentic. So I'll give you a real funny example of how this plays out in my life. I'm a writer, among many other things, and I was afraid to be a writer. I started writing when I was 3 years old. I have crayon marks in the Encyclopedia Britannica where I was taking notes, and I had read the things then. So, but I was afraid to do that until well into my adult years. I always was doing it, but I was kind of keeping it quiet to myself, And it wasn't until I was probably in my 60s when I really began, like, owning it and making a part of my world and a part of my work. And now I've got something like more than a dozen books published, and probably 20 some ready to publish. But here's the fun thing that I wanted to share. And this speaks directly to authenticity. Now, most of the books I've written are nonfiction books. They're meant to help people. They're meant to help people understand things about themselves. There may be ways to look at life differently so that you can experience it more comfortably. And that's where my milieu, if you will, that's where I swim. And one night, I discovered something. My subconscious apparently decided that 2 decades of telling people what to trust, what how to trust what arises from within themselves was enough talk, and staged a demonstration. I dreamed an entire woodland village, a detective agency staffed by skunks, and woke up with a complete children's series handed to me on a platter. I mean, it was completely developed in the dream. I woke up, I remembered it because I'm most of the time a lucid dreamer. So I was gifted this. And here I am, like, what in the world am I going to do with this? I never saw myself as a children's writer. I don't know anything about it, or I thought I didn't. But you know what? This was so fascinating to me that I tried to keep up with it because it would just kept on flowing from that point. So I got it on paper, and then I got it in print, and I've got the first 4 books are now published, and I'm working on book 20 now.
Wow.
Just waiting to come forth, and I'm having so much fun with it. It's soul deep books for kids because it helps them through stories, learn some things that adults are now trying to unravel for themselves.
Right.
They could have learned it when they were young if someone had just told them or taken the time to see it more clearly. And that's what these stories apparently are doing. I mean, I don't even always know where it's going to go because it's just a living thing, if you will. And I'm having fun participating with it, but I had to say yes. I had to make a decision. So I woke up, I had this dream. I went, what will I do with this? That's not who I think I am. What do I know about this? Who am I to do this thing? Well, I'm the one that got the gift. I'm the one that got the stories. What am I going to do with them if I don't put them out there? Who will they help? And that's where I end up, like, what's true for me? That was what was true for me. I have the stories. I have a decision to make. What's congruent with who I am and why I'm here? And that's how the stories, the Stinkerton Detective Agency was born and is thriving. So,
I'm in love. And I have chills. That's such a cool story,
I mean, it's a true story. And, you can't make this stuff up. This is a real thing. We're talking about authenticity. This is how Nancy Boyd stays authentic, is by listening and staying present to what's happening, what's true for me, and responding to it in a way that feels congruent for myself. It feels in integrity with my purpose and what I know about myself and the world, why I'm here. I didn't know I was here to write kids' books, but apparently I am.
Well, there you go. Who would have known? Yeah, and I love that. I love how both of you are sort of tapping on that if we, really tune into our values, tune into ourselves, what is true for us, that can help us make amazing business decisions that, could be, could send us in a totally different direction or exactly where we're going. And, so many opportunities that can happen with that. And I think that those opportunities that come up are more aligned because we are being true to ourselves and being authentic.
Just one more thing to say. It's not always an either or. It's in many cases, it's both and. The world is a big enough place and expansive enough and evolves rapidly enough that it can include all kinds of things. If we're willing, if we're paying attention, and if we're aligning ourselves, like Stacy was saying, it is a question of alignment because there's so many possibilities. You can't do everything, maybe, but you can pick the ones that are just right. And it doesn't have to be just one.
I love that you play the yes and game.
So many ads. Well, I mean, it's even true for this podcast, for example. Like I won a course on how to launch a podcast. And I was like, I don't even know if I want to do a podcast, and that was, I guess that was in 2023 that I did the course. Is that right? Yeah. And so here we are, and this is going to be episode 121, which is incredible. So like, if I hadn't said yes to that, and then, by the end of it, I was excited to do it and launched it and wanted to be all about authenticity. So yeah, exactly. Take those amazing gifts that are given to us and see if they're aligned and go with it. So just as we sort of start to end this and conclude, I would love to know, Stacy, do you have any final words of wisdom to share with our audience?
Oh, it's funny because I usually, when people ask me that, I have I have one that I almost always give, and I'm like, it didn't seem to fit a second ago. As Nancy said, like a minute ago, it wasn't the truth, and now it is. I just ran it through the source thing there. I tell people, I usually, the thing I love telling people is have a grace with themselves. And I think, I thought, "Oh, that doesn't fit." And then I'm like, wait a minute. Yes, it does. Because as we go on that journey of finding ourself and finding our authenticity and figuring out what we're doing in our businesses, we need to have grace with ourselves as we walk down and make choices that sometimes you'll make a choice that doesn't fit. And that's how you find out what does fit, and so like having grace with yourself in the whole journey, both when you're not sure what works, when you figure out what works, when you figure out what works 5 minutes from now, when the new truth hits. I think having grace with yourself as you go through the journey is important.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Nancy, any final words of wisdom?
It's worth paying attention to what's true for yourself and figuring out what that is, and then having the courage to stand in it and live from it. Because knowing what's true and living it can be two different things, and they don't have to be. So make it your business to live it.
Boom. Thank you for that. All right. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in to Coaches in the Spotlight. It's the very first one. We will be doing these on a monthly basis. It is, I believe it's like the second Tuesday of each month at this time. And I'll be bringing on, I think in August, it will be business coaches making an impact and or that you need to know. And yeah, so thank you so much for tuning into Coaches in the Spotlight. And thank you so much to my two guests for coming here and sharing your wisdom and letting everybody know a bit more about you and what you do and how they can get in touch with you. I'll be right after this posting some links in there as well that both Stacy and Nancy gave me. So if you want to learn more about them or get in contact with them, please do. They're amazing humans and are doing such good in the world. And we will sign it off from there. Thank you both for being here. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.